Here it is, sir.
The new Starfield patch that's been promising some updates that include performance and quality modes, frame rate options, and a whole bunch of other quality of life updates has finally arrived. After a 24 gig download on my Xbox Series X, I jumped in to check it out, record some footage, and also give you some of my impressions on where we're at. Is this patch really enough to fix Starfield, or is it just a band-aid on a whole bunch of existing problems? Right, to kick things off, let's talk about the performance modes. So as I mentioned before, there's now the options for 30, 40 and 60 frames per second and an uncapped frame rate as well. There's also now two options for quality and performance. The quality will generally try and keep up better resolution, special effects, also crowds and things like that, whereas the performance will tone that stuff down to try and keep things running smoother. I did a couple of comparisons where I ran around and I swapped between the modes, and the good news is that the comparisons when I took screenshots and some clips are pretty tough to tell apart. Like if you sit in the town and you take a screenshot and you swap to the other mode, or go from quality at 30 FPS all the way to performance at 60 or uncapped, I didn't see that much of a difference straight away. I mean, when looking at pictures, I even struggled to see a difference at all. So that's good. I mean, that was actually a big surprise for me. I really didn't expect it to be that close. I actually thought that 40 FPS was going to be the winner and 60 was going to probably look really terrible, like super muddy and things like that. But hey, I'm actually quite pleasantly surprised in that regard. There is a problem though, and that is that the honeymoon was sort of over not long after when I started running around more and realized in some towns, like when I arrived in Aquila, the frame rate can get pretty janky, and that was whether or not I was on 60 or uncapped, or, you know, I think 30 was okay, but when I was running around some of those areas, things like the frame rate just started going all over the place. So that is a bit of a problem if that's a big bother to you. The thing is, for me, I can sort of live with that. You know, I'm not such a stickler for this sort of thing that if there's any sort of frame drops or anything, then it's unacceptable. Like, I can manage it, but some of it got pretty rough. So, I've got some mixed feelings about that overall.
What's the matter with this thing? What's all that churning and bubbling? You call that a radar screen?
The new maps that they've got are pretty cool. I really love that. It's like full-blown 3D versions of the level. It almost feels like they could have almost just zoomed you up into the air and looked at it like that with the icons on, because it's got icons and things now to see around easier and find out where you are. That is handy. That said, I think I have a bug where it seems to have forgotten a lot of the locations that I had unlocked before, because I had like a whole bunch of places I'd been to before popping up telling me that I've discovered a location, or telling me on the map that I haven't discovered it yet when I was going around.
I'm having trouble with the radar, sir.
What's wrong with it?
I've lost the bleeps, I've lost the sweeps, and I've lost the creeps.
On top of that, there's also some cool difficulty options that they've added to customize the experience, so you can tweak up the difficulty level for ship battles or for health, or you can even make your ammo weigh something or not. They've got some interesting new sort of survival settings that you can put in. So if you want to play the game in a very extreme way, you can actually put these things up. But it's at that point where this feels kind of like it's missing the mark, because you need to have a very dedicated fan base before you can have people who are getting into this thing so heavily that they are willing to do things like this. And in the comment sections of my previous videos speaking about Fallout, and if you go and read about it online, people have spent thousands and thousands of hours in just Fallout 4, roaming the wastelands, finding things, playing around with mods and all that sort of stuff. They love it, and it's because there's something special there. It's something I've spoken about before, called that Bethesda magic. It's the thing that makes their games special, because their games have a lot of problems usually. They're not, their graphics aren't always the best, and they're always buggy, and they're always, they have issues. They don't have the best writing always and things like that, but they have that special sauce, and that special sauce, which I've mentioned before, is the exploration. It's that ability to just walk out into the wastelands, or in Skyrim it's to head out into the land and find things, stumble into situations, ones that are meant for you and ones that aren't, things that you've planned or that even Bethesda have planned and written, and just funny moments that sometimes happen just in the world, just the way the games roll out. Now, in Starfield, that was my main concern, that this game can't just function with some improvements. It needs something big. So, when they add all these little features and functions and quality of life updates, it's great, and they've also fixed some bugs and quests and things that, quite frankly, should have been fixed long ago. This game's been out for a while already, which is good, but it's still got the problem. The problem is very, very real, because when I started running around to capture some footage and just give it a test, I eventually went and landed on one of the planets to have that sort of experience where you run around and just find an outpost and maybe fight some guys. And very quickly, I just found myself feeling that old feeling I had before of nothingness. I landed and I started running to the nearest outpost, and I ran and I ran and I ran. And your character's sort of struggling with the stamina or the O2, and then you go a bit more, and then just as I was about to get there, I heard a ship come down behind me. So I thought, oh, that's kind of cool, let me go look at that. And then I didn't realize how much running and jumping and walking and waiting I had to do to get back there. And when I got there, the little mission that had come from it wasn't that special. It was people telling me, oh, they need some ship parts. If I can find some lying around, it would help them. And I mean, I have ship parts on my ship, but for some reason they were telling me I must look around for them. This, in contrast to Fallout 4, where I've been walking out into the wilderness or into the wastelands, and just within a minute I've found something interesting. I've started hearing gunfire somewhere. I've met a character. I've done something. And I landed up just on this planet alone, running up and down a bit, and just felt this sense of boredom, this sense of emptiness, where you realize, man, there's nothing really here. And even though they're promising that a future update's also going to add a vehicle, that's going to help. But again, these are things that help problems. These are band-aids, and that's not good. This game needs more. And they've got the DLC coming later, and I don't know what they're planning for this expansion, but I'm starting to think that they're gonna need to do something along the lines of really adding some fairly large and fairly dense planets or areas that you can really just almost shift to, as your major gameplay sort of location, so that you can go and have that Skyrim or Fallout experience on those planets or in those areas, because there's that and maybe some other solution that they have to all of these planets and places you can land, because it's unfortunate, it's boring. It's clear that magic is missing, and it's clear that they just don't have what they need right now to make this game really ever catch up to the likes of Skyrim or Fallout 4. I mean, Fallout 4 is a game that was even criticized quite a lot when it came out. It's a heck of a lot better now. I mean, I would actually hesitate to say that it's really good now. Like, I'm having a lot of fun. But this, I don't know. I don't know where we are with Starfield, and I don't know where we're gonna go. Is it better now? Yes. Is it better to play? It is. I mean, the frame rate improvements and everything, the gunplay feels good. The getting around feels good. A lot of things are better. They've got better ship customization now. You can really just make yourself a mobile home in a sense, and trick it out and do all those things, and that's cool. But that's cool for people who are sinking so many hours into the game that they want all these awesome things with them. But it's not going to be cool for people who aren't playing the game, because they just haven't found something. They haven't found that engaging aspect of the gameplay and the exploration and the story to keep them wanting to come back, to keep them wanting to explore more and to find out what there is out there, because there isn't all that much. I mean, the side missions are really good. The main quest doesn't impress everyone all that much. And we've got the DLC coming. So where we're going to go from there, what the mods are going to be able to do, that's a kind of different story that we don't yet know. But I mean, there's only so long that people are going to be willing to humor this until eventually this game just gets completely left behind. we've seen Microsoft, they sort of inherited Starfield with the Bethesda acquisition, but we've seen this problem with Microsoft quite a lot lately, and as someone whose main platform is an Xbox right now, it is starting to get frustrating that the games that they're releasing aren't in great shape all the time. Halo was not in great shape. Halo Infinite, when it came out, it's actually really good now, but it's taken a long time, and it really missed that initial window where it really could have caught on and become a big deal. But it's really good now for anyone who goes back to play, but a lot of people have moved on. Forza Motorsport as well, I've also made videos on that recently. They're also busy improving it. It's the same thing. They're making it better, but there's still some core issues that they haven't fixed. What are they doing when they're deciding what's going to be the core experience that's going to make these games good and fun? And I think Xbox gamers and the PC gamers that are buying into these things as well are getting kind of tired of this conversation and these same excuses and the same stories of, it'll get good eventually. People don't want good eventually. When you play really good games, when you're on a PlayStation and you're playing God of War or you're playing Spider-Man 2, you're not saying that it's going to be good eventually. It's good then. You buy the game and it's good, and you're playing it and you're having a good time. That's what people should be expecting, but it's something that's becoming more and more rare these days when you get games across the board. It's not just Xbox and their exclusives. Not everyone is innocent here, and especially your other publishers, EA and Ubisoft and all of them, they also have a knack for releasing stuff that's seriously undercooked before it's actually gone out into the world, and they're happy to charge full price for it and also chuck on a couple of battle passes and microtransactions long before the game's even really done. But that is the case and the state of where we are right now, and that's the state of gaming in 2024.
Merchandising, where the real money from the movie is made.
Alright, but in summary, yes, they've done what they promised with the patch. They've added some quality of life improvements. They've added great things to make the experience as a whole better. Has it fixed Starfield? Hell no. There's still quite a lot of work to be done, and as I made quite clear, time is running out. I'm interested to see what's going to happen here, because this was a big investment for Bethesda and of course for Microsoft. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. If you enjoyed this video, found it interesting, you may want to check out my other videos on Fallout 4 and Starfield and Forza. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to let me know. I'd like to thank everyone again for helping me get past 1,000 subscribers. It's been an awesome ride. Onwards and upwards. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.